There you go. Oh, we're okay. That's fine. It was like, hey, I'm not going to boot up just fine. And I was like, all right. And then it did. And I'm okay with that. Let's make sure everything's okay. Pop me in. Nice. That's an ad for Planet Fitness. We don't need that. Oh, okay, we're going to get more ads today. Sorry, everyone. I'm sure this will happen to everybody. All right, YouTube's good to go. That means I'm going to boot up Twitch real quick. And then... Oh, well, you know, it would help if you hit the button to start Twitch first. Sorry. I'll figure this out one of these days. Oh, no. Hold on. Hold on. 1 second. 1 second. Whoops. I got to fix something on Twitch real quick. Oh, glad I checked.
Fucking closets.
Whoop, don't need you, whoever you are. I need to update something on the channel. My bad. Hold on 1 second. It did an update as per. That's just part of the fun. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you tell Twitch to do something and it doesn't do it. So let's just fix that real quick. Fix this. Is there just a TTRPG section? Probably. Oh, there we go. Yep, thank you. Just gonna put it in tabletop RPGs. I don't think that there is an Enclave one. Oh, let me check. Nope. All right, we're gonna do tabletop. Boink. Get rid of this. I will put Enclave in these tags, but okay. Boom. Boop. I wonder if there's a session 0 tag. Yep, there sure is. How to play. How to play chess is one of the tags. That's crazy. How to play. What else do we want? Oh, yeah. Cool. I think we're good to go. Okay, better. Wait for that to update and then boot up Twitch. Give me a second. There we go. Okay, Twitch is up and running now. That could have gone better. Apologies. I love when you tell it to update and it just doesn't. Sometimes it'd be doing that. What do you mean failed to detect? There you go. Now we're cooking with gas. Or not. It's just a blank screen. Why? Hold on. Something's wrong with Twitch, but YouTube seems to be fine. Twitch, what are you doing? Could we just fix this, please? Twitch, what are you doing? There we go. Okay, now I'm good to go. All right, everything's running. I think should be running. Okay. All right. Everything's good to go now. Good thing I checked. But that's fine. All right, everything's good to know. Do. And there's been noises playing, so we're good. We know the headset won't turn off. At least on my end. I'm pretty sure everyone else is going to be totally fine. I'm ready to start the call whenever. For those of you who aren't sure what we're doing tonight, it will be a little special. We're going to play a whole different TTRPG tonight. It will be a DM Roundtable Plays, but we are not doing D&D. We're not doing 5e. We're going to be playing ENCLAVE, which is a tableless role-playing game, also diceless. In where not only are we going to play tonight, but the creator of the TTRPG is coming on to hang out and teach us all about this TTRPG because we want to learn how to play. And we want to know all about it. This is something new for all of us. I don't think any of the DMs at DM Roundtable have ever played a diceless TTRPG. What? I actually think DM Lacara has played a solo journaling TTRPG before, but I think it still involved dice. That's a good question. Well, we're gonna find out today. We're all gonna learn stuff today. That's the beauty of gaming. There's always something new to learn. And believe us, we have a lot to learn. Boink. There we go. Let me just make this a bit smaller. We're good. Hello there.
Hello.
Hello,
This is so
hello.
cool.
I'm here with tech support because I just had a new computer.
Seems to be working pretty good.
Yeah, it does seem to be working pretty good. Thank you,
And
darling.
making sure it's the right camera.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the right camera. It's the best way. We got two camera, one here, one there, and so you just kind of go to see which one it is.
Mm.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh goodness, the boy carousel is
All
coming
right,
upstairs.
I'm going to handle the or camera carousel. Have fun on your stream.
That's totally okay.
Love you.
I realized I never asked. We
Hello,
can
hello.
switch to cameras. That's totally fine.
Oh yes. No, we can turn off the overhead. Thank you.
No, which do you prefer, this or that?
Probably better off. Moody.
Yeah.
Don't have to have cameras on. I just assume it by default. So like, feel free to turn it off.
Yeah, I'm gonna make. There we go.
This is so cool.
All right.
I can do that. If Discord lets me, I can do it. Come on.
You don't got it if you don't want
Discord's
to.
not gonna let you.
It will never. I can also
Discord
share the
might allow
Discord
you.
screen of everybody's camera too. Currently, I'm sharing the first book, the Advent Edition book.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I even have enough ports left in my PC to plug in my camera.
Listen, everybody
so
needs
I
tech
will
support.
remain an enigma today.
I'm pretty sure
Does
also
it-
DM Lacara would never turn on her camera.
I'm also just too lazy to go around the shelf I just built to go behind my PC to see if there's another port. I'm just lazy.
I have no USB ports on this laptop. we have hit the optimal point, but also
Lisa, can I have some
I am a
USB
little-
ports?
I am in lazy mode and unprepared for the film. I will be the first to tell you. I'm not fit for the
Here,
camera.
in that
Mr.
case,
DeVille.
for solidarity, I will turn off my camera.
Shin forgot to put his makeup on.
I won't even say it's my makeup, but it's my pretty face.
It's all creepy. But people out there, you all probably know our voices, but now there's a new voice on here.
Hello. That's all you're getting for now, at least.
think that's more than enough of an intro, though. We do happen to have a special guest today on the roundtable.
It is a pleasure to be here. Thank you guys so much for sharing your platform and sharing your time. I'm happy to go into any amount of depth you would like me to, but I do not want to bore you nor your listeners. So tell me what you'd like to hear from me.
Oh, I mean, the first answer is usually everything, but that's me as a human.
Whatever you're willing to divulge.
Yeah.
Sure. So, my name is Robby Howell. I created the diceless tabletop role-playing game ENCLAVE. It's been around the block, and it's coming around the block again for a lap 2 with another Kickstarter that's coming out in October. It's going to be a overhaul of the core rule set, new art, new text, new graphic design, balance updates, community input, plus a major new separate expansion, which is going to repeat nothing from the base book and is going to add tons.
Ooh.
Okay.
And
I can
if you guys
elaborate
are
on that if you want.
If you guys are interested,
Yeah.
there's a link in the description right now.
Yes, no, absolutely click the link. But first and foremost, I have to ask, what inspired Enclave?
That's a good
Oh.
question.
My favorite question. Okay, so bit of a long story. I'll try to keep it short.
No.
2 summaries. I've been creating diceless games and working as a paid professional game host since I was about 15 years old. I first learned what D&D was when I was 18 years old, and I first learned the term tabletop role-playing game at 19. I had convergently evolved into the genre because growing up, my friends and I would try to act out video games to get around screen time limitations. And it just so happens that when you try to act out video games and then you take it to its logical extreme and you start making your own, that's a tabletop role-playing game. And so because of that, I've managed to dodge many of the conventions that are kind of par for the course in the industry. I have had to reinvent the wheel to some degree, unfortunately, but now that I'm here, I know a lot more about what I'm doing. And it's allowed me to have a rather unconventional approach to the space. Enclave is my first published game. However, I was, again, working as a paid professional host for almost a decade, entirely without written rule sets. We did everything through oral tradition.
Oh, that's cool.
So very early, so ironically very early and similar to how D&D even was, is like early war games way back before Gygax and Arneson put everything to pen and paper and created what we know as D&D and all the other, as I use D&D obviously as everyone's favorite tabletop that everyone eventually falls into, but I think you very much touched on a lot of things that I myself also found myself doing to get around screen time. It was definitely a, hey, let's take those books that you like to read, because I was a very big fantasy novel kid as a growing up. And why don't you combine that with all those little video games in your head and go play somewhere? And that's what we did. That's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
We turned it into, so that's amazing.
Exactly. Like, I found a lot of people kind of come to the genre in that way. Those who are honest about it, at the very least. I found that there's quite a lot of people who are like, oh my God, it's just play pretend. Well, I feel like the word just is the operational point there, right? I think that play pretend is actually pretty spectacular. And when you add stakes and structure to it, it's what allows it to become something incredibly profound and special. Like, I genuinely believe tabletop role-playing has some of the highest power to like affect people of any medium out there, which is part of why I love it. But if I'm honest, the reason I love it the way I do is that my brain doesn't let me stop loving it. I'm just obsessed with it. I spend all my free time working and making games, so I gotta take out all that energy somehow.
A dream. I can tell you that is the dream.
I respect it.
So obviously, Enclave is rather a large topic. It's rather an unconventional game. I'm happy to answer any and all questions you all would have about it, but if you want to just dive in and make characters and then see where it takes us, I'm happy to do that as well.
I mean,
I feel like some of us have ideas already.
We haven't discussed this yet at all. Nudge, nudge.
There was zero planning amongst us as a group.
I definitely wasn't racking my brain on my basically day off today, you know?
Wow, I'm so impressed you guys did such a great job of like coming into this blind and not like spending a bunch of time on it. That's awesome.
Imagine having restraint for TTRPGs and reading fantasy novels. God, imagine.
Quite. So in that case, I'm reckoning character creation will probably be pretty easy. Shall we dive in?
I think
I think
so.
so.
Nice. So first of all, what class would you like to pick? To give a brief summary for those listening, in the core game, Enclave Advent, there are 6 classes. They try to skirt the bound between conventional and very, very unconventional. And so we have Gunslinger, Illusionist, Librarian, Thane, Thunderbird, and Wanderer. And to answer your question, Ehwaz, in chat, this is a diceless game in terms of genre and setting. Enclave is setting and genre agnostic. Every time you play is in a different setting, a different world. There is no consistent overarching plotline or time frame or theme. You get to bring what you want to it, and your characters each come from their own unique little pocket of this infinite world. And because of that, you can mash genres together, which allows it to be wildly versatile. So to that end, classes, what are you all thinking? You can repeat, by the way.
Well,
We did try to branch out.
we do. We try our best to branch out, but I think we know one person here
Yeah, I was waiting for him to say it.
who's being oddly quiet, despite us knowing absolutely who he's going to pick. So why don't you go ahead?
Listen, you're gonna make me go get my hat, aren't you?
You
Absolutely.
don't already have it?
No, it's over there on my. I
You
don't know what that
being
is.
unprepared is highly.
Have you been playing with your
It's-
bandolier? Is that why?
No, I can't play with my revolvers because I sit near a window and I don't want to get yelled at.
That makes sense.
Listen, they're completely model. They shouldn't. You should be fine. They're models for crying out loud. But
I didn't spend all day playing Red Dead for nothing.
that was your
That was your prep.
yeah, your study session.
like, I need to get into dramatic
Listen,
character.
it was so bad. I went to work today and a kid asked me a question because I teach kids how to do coding, and I literally was like, "I need help," and I go, "What incarnation you want from me?" I'm like, "Oh God, I need help."
Oh my god, and they're all too young now to even know like Yosemite Sam or anything to tie that to.
Don't remind me.
Babies.
That hurt in a place I didn't know it could hurt. But
You know what? Just for that, because you brought a Looney Tunes reference into this, I'm just gonna make a gunslinger, but it's Foghorn Leghorn.
Oh hell yes.
I've had too much Foghorn Leghorn in my life.
There is no such thing.
There is no God here. Only Foghorn.
well, I think I'm gonna switch it up on myself, and
Ooh.
I'm gonna
Who
play
are
the
you?
Wanderer.
Sick.
No, that tracks.
Excellent.
That's not switching it up.
It is a little bit.
So no, it's not. You went from wielding Wanderer to being a Wanderer. No.
Mm.
This is true. So then I should repeat. I guess amend my previous statement. I'm gonna do exactly what people might have expected, and go right into the Wanderer. Because it was truly between the Wanderer and the Thunderbird in my brain, and then I was just
Really?
like, no, I think I really want to be Bilbo Baggins, but I want to be Bilbo's cat in the hat.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
Oh.
we're going to Mordor, but we're bringing Thing 1 and Thing 2.
Oh my god, those are two things that have never coexisted in my brain at the same time.
Fair. Whimsical Bilbo Baggins. Let's go.
So Tom Bombadil.
Full Tom Bombadil.
Yeah. Mm.
Full
Yep.
Bombadil.
That tracks. I am also going to do exactly what everybody expected of me. In fact, Okami actually sent me a message going, "Hey, are you going to play the librarian?" And I was like, "Yeah, yes,
So,
yes, I am."
so when I saw the librarian do Lacara, immediately my brain went, okay, so how long is it going to take for her to say he wants the librarian? Because I know in your mind you called the librarian.
To be fair, I was totally struck by the cultural reference list for the Thane, and I was like, "Oh, I am so here for this." Joan of Arc and Henry V, hell yes. And so, but yeah, like actually playing it, definitely librarian.
So can I just say your cultural references for each of the classes are very varied.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's all. But also they've put characters together in my head that I did not think about being
That
so
was the goal.
similar. Like
Yep.
that was a very I think you did a great job of painting not only an idea of the class, but repainting people's ideas of these characters in popular culture and fiction in a new light.
Yep. I'm
So
so
that's kind
glad
of
to hear it.
cool.
That's wonderful to hear. Because I'll be honest, that was one of the hardest things to do with making the book. I am a pop culture like buffoon. I know nothing. I live in a rock. And so I could get the like history and mythology ones down pretty well, but for almost everything else, I had to ask for help, with a few exceptions.
Phone a friend.
Yeah, I asked for help for so many of these, and I just spent hours on TV tropes and like reading wikis
Makes
until I
sense.
finally like figured out like, oh, okay, that's exactly what I was going for. Although there's a few that I will take full credit for. Like I don't know if you guys grew up with Between the Lions, but that was
Yeah,
all me. So
yes, I did. I did grow up with Between the Lines.
yeah,
I can say.
there's a couple of the non-history, non-myth ones I'll take full credit for, and that's one of them. But yeah, yeah, I'm glad that the cultural references help. We call those grounding examples because all Enclave classes are based in tropes. Enclave is a game that loves tropes, but we try to make the tropes a little more funky and a little more specific. Um, Along those same lines, in the expansion, we have a bunch of new classes coming, also based on tropes, and in our community on Discord, we have quite a few people who make their own classes, which, if they go through a testing process, I actually commission art for out of my own pocket and release to the game. But they have to go through similar processes to what I did here, which means a lot of testing and also a lot of trope hunting and being like, okay, does this actually make sense as a trope?
That tracks.
That's a very good point. Not everything fits perfectly into something that isn't already possibly created, I guess, once you start to branch out into further and further into your tropes too.
Totally. And some of the tropes that we have here are pretty unconventional, like stuff you won't really find on TV shows, like The Wanderer. There's a couple others in the expansion that I can talk about a little later. But Okami, a class, if you will.
I'm ending up with the Thane, and the thing that got me about this guy is, or girl, whatever you want to play for them, is hearing that maybe like some of your suggestions, like Ike and Roy from Fire Emblem. I don't know if that was your suggestion, but I'm thinking his ability is like Archer from Fate Stay Night, which when the character Archer is like growing up, his ability, he thinks that he's repairing things, but he's actually making duplicates of them. And like the idea that I can make duplicates of things I've seen to give to other people is such a cool thing.
You have an ability that's not terribly far off of that. We'll get to that in a moment. But now that we picked classes, shall we get to the next step of character creation?
Yes, please.
Sick. Next is personality. On numbered page 9, it's 13 in the PDF viewer, there's the character creation page. At the bottom of that, there's a little chart that says personality traits. Enclave has 12 stats, which sounds like a lot, but you only have to really care about like 3 at a time. And each stat is correlated to a personality trait. Your characters each have 3 of these, the kind of cornerstones of how you can character act. And we're going to generate 3 traits off of this. But fortunately, you only have to make one decision because 2 of those traits are spoken for based on your class that you picked. Here's how you do that. The Gunslinger, right underneath the name Gunslinger on that page, has 2 little updoots next to the skill stat and one next to the sensory stat. The Gunslinger specializes in skill and sensory, more so the former. All classes specialize in 2 stats in this way. And so your character would get the 2 traits correlated with those 2 stats. So for a Gunslinger, you would have the skill trait of confident and the sensory trait of alert. And then the 3rd trait you can pick from anything on that list. So you could go confident, alert, and I don't know, compassionate if you want to play a spirit gunslinger, which would be very cool and big dick, but it's rough build. So similarly, Wanderer would be carefree and indulgent, the luck and vitality stats. Thane would be tough and compassionate, the resilience and spirit stats. And the Librarian would be opinionated and compassionate, the intelligence and spirit stats. And again, that 3rd, you get to pick entirely for yourself.
What's everybody thinking?
I don't know.
I'm trying to find where this is in the.
Do I
Numbered page 9,
energy?
13 on the PDF viewer.
I love that you know that. You've had to do this so many times.
Yes, quite a few times.
He's just sitting there twitching. He's like, I know what page it is.
Hey, Waz, I don't want a gunslinger. That is absolutely Speedy. I'm just going to let you know. That is
100%.
The moment Okami handed me this book, he's like, you don't need to look at the classes. We know what you're playing.
Yeah, Speedy is the gunslinger.
Scroll through.
I mentioned to the 2 of
gunslinger.
them.
Okay, got it.
I mentioned to the 2 of them, I'm like, okay, well, I'm kind of eyeballing Illusionist, and they're like, are you okay?
Yeah, we were like, what do you mean you're eyeballing something that's not what you should be? Like, are you sick? Are you
They
ill?
were telling me to be my true, authentic self. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll go get the jack.
I do kind of like the idea of carefree a lot.
I think for a wanderer, that makes sense.
Yep, as a wanderer, you have carefree and indulgent by default because it's a luck and vitality class. You get to pick that 3rd, anything besides those 2.
Ooh, I'm really
So you do have
thinking,
carefree.
I'm thinking about it, like, what goes really well with this indulgent, carefree in my head that I want to play around? Ooh.
You know what? For fun, I think it'd be hilarious to give him a reflex. Just
Sure.
He's confident, alert, and smooth.
Absolutely. Do it.
I just realized, did I ever get given a character sheet to write all this down?
You can put this in a notepad document. You can put it on like a spare cue card. You can do anything with it.
I'm ready.
I sent you a JPEG, but like
sticky notes.
I have a beautiful notebook that I want to do my TTRPGs in. So I think we're gonna slap. This is tough. This is kind of tough, but I like the idea of arcane.
Hell yeah.
And just kind of being overpoweringly ambitious, just like really this very carefree thief in the night. Yeah, I think I got this.
Sounds
I
sick.
think I got this. I like this. This is too much. So we have a running joke here on the Roundtable that we always say that we love when we infuse flavor into things because we just believe that the spice of life is TTRPGs to some extent. And this has so much flavor that I'm just like, I want all the things.
Excellent. I will give you more to think about later.
We have a shirt that says we're the MSG of RPGs.
Oh, goodness gracious. We have a big old pot of that downstairs.
Okay, so next to the personality traits, it says stat mod.
I think it's for the
Is
12
Is that a thing we're
stats.
supposed to do?
Pardon. So all you have to do is on that little chart at the bottom of numbered page 9, 13 on the PDF viewer, there's a little table that has the 12 stats and the personality traits they each correlate to. And so as a librarian, you would get the intelligence trait, which is opinionated, and then the spirit trait, which is compassionate. And then you can choose a third from all of the personality traits listed
Right.
there.
Yep. Okay. Okay, so that's where we put down which stat at mods.
Yep. We'll worry about stats next.
Okay.
That's one thing I was trying to figure out. How do you roll stats without rolling stats?
That's the wonderful thing. You don't have to roll it. You get to choose. In
You
fact,
have
we
my
can jump
attention.
into that if you'd like. So in Enclave, stats are measured with pluses. Each plus is a major increment of benefit. Even if you have no pluses in a stat, the stat is fully usable. It would just be like slightly above average by real world standards. However, if you have 1 plus in a stat, you're great. 2 pluses, you're amazing. 3 pluses, you are borderline supernatural by real world standards. And anything above that is cracked. However, when you first create a character, you cannot have a stat above 3 pluses. You have 6 total pluses to distribute for a new character. But 4 of those pluses are spoken for, so you only have to make 2 decisions. The way they are distributed is as such. Remember I said your class specializes with 2 stats each, one more so than the other. You put 2 pluses into the stat you specialize more with. So for the Thane, it would be resilience, 2 pluses to resilience. 1 in the stat you specialize less with. For the Thane, it would be spirit. And then that last plus goes into the stat of your third chosen personality trait. So for our gunslinger, for example, gunslinger specializes most with skill, double plus there. Single plus to sensory, again from the class. And then you chose the reflex trait of smooth, I believe. And as such, you would get a plus there as well. Those last 2 pluses can go into any stat, when you have, when you don't have, whatever. But you cannot bring a stat above 3, at least not now.
Okay.
So for our Wanderer, that would be double Lux, single Vitality, single Arcane. I believe you picked Arcane. And I don't know if I have heard the other 2 yet.
I went with Vigor from Enthusiastic.
Awesome. In that case, you would start with double Resilience, single Spirit, single Vigor. And then, again, 2 more pluses each for you guys to distribute after those first 4.
I think I know.
I went. What are you doing?
It might do 2 in luck.
Do it.
I was considering it.
Listen, I need to work on my pitches because I already have stupid ideas.
I think I want.
You guys told me to play this class. You will reap what you sow.
That's what we expect.
You can
true.
do 1. So my understanding. So I could do 1 in reflex, 1 in skill.
Yeah.
I think
Did
that's what I'm
1
gonna
in
do.
reflex,
I like.
1 in might.
I kind of like the idea of a smooth, confident, like. Now I'm thinking more Arsene Lupin, just like very gentleman thief.
Oh, great. If you guys have seen the old anime Lupin the Third,
Yes.
great show.
Yes, I have. Oh,
a rare cultural reference I understand because it's before the year 1995. And what about our librarian? What would you pick for your trait, by the way?
Confident.
Confident. Okay, so that means your starting stats would be double intelligence, single spirit, single skill, and then those last 2 you can put wherever.
Cool. Skill. And then 2 more to put somewhere?
Yep. You can put them in different stats, the same ones you already have. You just cannot bring any single stat above 3 pluses.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have any questions about any of the stats, by the way? They're mostly self-explanatory, but sometimes they are, in some cases, tethered to more like intricate game mechanics that I can easily walk you guys through on the spot while we play or tell you about in advance.
Well, so far it's making sense to me personally.
So far, so good.
Excellent. Okay, in that case, we'll move on to gear next. Your characters start with a special supernatural gear that is based in their class. On each of your class's second pages, there's a little pair of blocks at the top that show default gear and elective gear. The default gear you start with all of. So for the gunslinger, it would be duster, bandolier, revolver. And then for elective gear, you get to pick one of. So for the gunslinger, that would be Sharp's rifle, coach gun, saddled horse. This class gear is all assumed to be top of the line by real world standards and has cool supernatural effects layered on top of it. So, for example, the revolver supernaturally boosts the user's hand speed while operating it, just to allow you to absolutely blitz people, you know. And typically, the more kind of junk an item would be without a supernatural effect, the better the effect is. So, for example, the librarian's item Scholarly Raiment, which is just fancy academic dress, it increases your veracity in others' eyes, which it turns out is a stupidly powerful effect. So, typically speaking, the effects that items have are inversely proportionate to the item's baseline power.
Awesome.
Oh.
Though there's some sleepers in there. Since none of you are playing an illusionist, and I don't feel bad about spoiling this, the illusionist item smoke bombs, even though it looks really, really simple, is absurd. Because all it is, it's a smoke bomb, blasts off in a plume of smoke, but the user can see through the smoke without any obstruction. And it turns out that effect by itself makes the item insane.
Well,
Still screws your allies though, which is always fun.
I mean, listen, if they wanted to see, they would have thrown their own smoke bomb.
Precisely, yeah.
Although if they wanted to see through smoke, they would have played illusionist.
Additionally, as you level up, you can actually get items off of other classes. So that's something that you can be thinking about when charting out your character. But yeah, for now, do you guys have any questions about any of the gear? Remember, you get all three default pieces. You can choose one elective.
Definitely
do
getting
engravings
scanned.
provide an advantage?
One more time.
Do engravings on the guns give advantages?
Oh, excellent question. So skinning, which is what we call it when you change a gear piece's appearance, you can do whatever you want with. You can even go really extreme and like make a gun into a laser rifle or something, so long as it has no differences in how its core functions work. So if you say to me, oh, I want to have like a futuristic rifle, sure, it's still going to have the same firepower though. So if that's like something that would annoy you, then don't do that. But there's ways to kind of cheat it. And there's some really cool examples that people have done where, for example, we had one person be like, all right, I want to make like a Magipunk revolver where it's like shooting shards of crystal. Is that okay? Yeah, hell yeah, that's sick. It's still a revolver. So as long as the item still keeps its core functions and is still used in generally the same way, that's fine. Like if you want to say, oh, can my librarian's scholarly raiment be like a hat? I'd say no, because it should be full body, right? The raiment is your whole self. So if you just make it a hat, suddenly it means you can double up on raiment, and that's dumb. So we try to keep it within the same scope, for want of a better term.
So, like, if I wanted my Wanderer satchel to be a messenger bag or a backpack, that would be
perfecto.
Totally...
With something like the satchel, you could even get away with saying super duper deep pockets that are huge and baggy.
Jinko jeans, just the greatest pair of Jinko jeans. Oh, that is amazing. Okay. That opens my mind to so many things now.
Oh yeah, and this is part of the reason we say Enclave is genre agnostic. There is no set world building you need to fit your character into. We'll get to backstory in a second. You get to define every element of your character's backstory and aesthetic. And so skinning can be a great way to make your characters feel a lot more tangible. And even though you don't get any explicit mechanical benefit off of skinning, there is a lot of implicit benefit just for how you look. That can change a lot in Enclave.
That's awesome. I like this.
I apologize if you hear a chorus of children in the background.
It's okay. I literally just shut my window because I live right next to a main road and no one knows how to drive.
I muted in time, but the moment I started the stream, my family burst into the house and started yelling at me, and I was like, "Get out!"
Nice. Perfect.
Not now.
While you guys are thinking about gear, librarian stats. What are you thinking past your, what was it, double intelligence, single spirit, single skill? What were you thinking about for those other two pluses?
I was thinking about dumping them both into will.
Do it. Sick.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I feel like that's where a lot of the confidence comes from, is just that ability to look somebody in the eye that's trying to cast something on you and be like, no.
Sick. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions about gear pieces? Because if not, I can move on to the next step.
This is a shame. My hat doesn't fit over my headphones.
Oh. Well.
Ah.
For the banner, are the soldiers that get summoned, are they ethereal, or is that like a skinning
No, they're
thing?
real guys.
Ooh. Oh.
I mean, you could
Bro,
skin
you
them as
summon
being
the
phantasmal
lads?
soldiers. Yeah, you summon the boys.
By the way, I had to shut my window for this, but I'm putting in the chat here what you all made me go grab.
Oh dear.
My beautiful piece.
Oh, that's
Lord,
pretty.
you do love that thing.
Listen, my wife bought this for me, and it is absolutely gorgeous. And I apologize if my
Beautiful
mic can
replica.
pick me up or pick
I
it up.
want to hear you spinning the chamber.
Wait
First
till
off,
we're playing.
You don't spin the chamber on a revolver.
See that right there? You're speaking to a true gunslinger right now. You just said first and
You
foremost.
never spin it, and plus you can hear me cocking it probably.
Yep.
Yep, he's ready.
Loud and clear.
I'm literally sitting here spinning it. If I had the camera on, you'd see it.
Let's get it.
Have any of you guys picked your elective gear piece yet?
I did actually. I went for the Nostrum.
Excellent. Super fun item.
I like the idea of it. I'm very curious as to how I'm going to play around the side effect, because I like the fact that you can literally pitch up the power of it. It looks like, and like increase its strength by being willing to take a little bit of a more than just an upset stomach or a bad breath kind of thing. I like that
indeed.
a lot.
Sick. All right, what else we got? Have any of you picked your elective gear pieces?
Oh yeah.
Scanner, sick.
I'm going banner.
Banner, excellent. And for the gunslinger?
Scanner.
Coach gun,
awesome. Next is abilities. Each class has 3 abilities, and wonder of wonders, miracle of miracles, you don't have to make any decisions. You have all of the listed abilities, period. And so for the Thane, for example, you would have 2 arms, shield wall, and Garethings, without having to choose one. Of note, abilities in Enclave have costs. They have energy costs, or what we would call essence, which is like your magical stamina. As you spend essence, you will become magically tired, which has all sorts of wonderful symptoms and side effects. And additionally, abilities do have limitations. Some abilities have fixed durations, some have fixed ranges, and all abilities have cooldowns, meaning that you can't just spam your abilities. You have to wait a little bit in between. Though, as you may notice, we don't have hard numbers for these. This is, again, a very narrative-based system, and as such, you might say, what the heck does low mean? What does mid mean? The best answer I have for you is it's really, really clear in practice. You're like, oh yeah, that's about low. Sounds about right. And I can elaborate on that a bit if you would like while we play. Do you have any questions about your listed abilities?
So my one question is here. So fork in the road.
That ability is actually very hard to use. So yes, I'm
okay. Is it, if I'm understanding it correctly, you're not necessarily asking I'm not asking you like, hey, which is the right way so much, but it's kind of an inference as to, okay, I'm torn between these 2 options. What's behind this, just so I know, kind of thing? Is that okay?
It gives you information about like a direction you could take, even if not like a literal one. You do have to make a guess as to what you think is there, and then you receive this kind of shifting vision about what lies beyond. Again, not necessarily literal, but it'll usually give you some good information.
Okay, that's kind of I like the one more and more as I read through these abilities. Like,
yeah,
this is.
Have you got to Familiar Face yet?
I have, and that the idea of me wanting to play this gentleman thief and now having like familiar face, it's just kind of like, oh hey, buddy, it's so good to see you. It's just like, yeah, hey. It's very much so when you forget someone's name and you see them coming towards you and you're like, so good to see you, and they're like, yay, man, and you're like, whew, okay, good. They didn't ask me, do you remember me? And then you remember who they are in the midst. It's like you know who they are, and it sounds terrible to say, but I'll have those moments where like someone will blitz me with like 5 people, and I'll go, I remember most of your faces, but your names elude me at this time. I'm
Oh
the
yeah.
first to say that to people. I'll be like, I apologize, but your names elude me.
Completely
Yeah.
reasonable. Along
I had to
those
say that to an entire room full of people today.
Oh.
A quick question before we finish up characters. What sort of time frame are we operating on? When do we want to wrap up for today?
Usually we go 2 hours.
Sure.
Ish.
Okay. In that case, we could, if you wanted to, try to get in a very fast mission, or we could save a full mission for next time and just do big Q&A stuff this time. What would you guys prefer?
I say leave the mission for its own time.
Sure. Yeah. Easily done. In that case, I might end with taking focus words, and I'll give you a bit about that in a moment. But
hell yeah.
Any other questions about your abilities before we finish up our characters?
I have a following a question, just kind of scrolling through the other abilities as well. So like looking at things, what made you go like obviously you will naturally want to have a balance of a combat and non-combat like abilities, things that can be used in and out of certain situations. But did you find it difficult to come up with varied options, or did you find that like the tropes that you created kind of filled in the abilities themselves?
That's a wonderful question. I think the best way I can answer that is by saying that what you see in this book is less than 5% of Enclave. I've been developing this game for a very long time, and I've showed it to many people before it had a written rule set. And at one point, Enclave had over 130 completely unique classes. This is barely the start. And so, to answer your question, it turns out that Enclave has a wild amount of design space, like way more than you could imagine looking at it. And so, having differentiated abilities is really wonderfully easy.
I'm just a big fan that everyone that's shown in this book has the same amount of abilities. I cannot tell you how annoyed I get when I'm playing a game, either video or tabletop RPG, and some classes have like 15 abilities, and they're like, "Oh, this class has one." And you're like, "What? What? Why?
Why?
Why have you done this?"
Yeah, sounds awful. I'll tell you another cool thing about that in a moment. But first, did that answer your question, Shin?
Yes, yes, it
Awesome.
did. No, that definitely did.
Final part of character creation. Hopefully, this is pretty easy and straightforward for you guys.
Yes.
Name, appearance, and background. Appearance and background in Enclave are very, very important, but they can be really short. They can be like a sentence or less. You can do more if you want, but you're actually allowed to define new elements of appearance and background as you play, so long as one, they make sense, two, you commit to them from then on, and three, they're not too convenient in the moment. But besides that, sky's the limit. Like I said, you get full control over your character's aesthetic, their background, their little corner of the infinite world. You get to define it all. I suppose the one thing I should mention though is that we do have two rules on this that are going to be clarified in the upcoming re-release of the core rule set, but aren't clearly defined here. We try to avoid direct real world stuff, like saying my character's from London. Well, it's more fun if there isn't actually a London. But there's a very, very close parallel called Donlon or something that you can do what you want with. And the other one is we avoid existing IP. So no real world, no existing IP, but extremely on the nose references are fine, if not encouraged. Now, while my children are screaming in the background and you guys are thinking, something else I can mention is I can mention the kind of world building behind Enclave, because there is some, though it's not a tremendous amount. Enclave takes place in literally an infinite world called Manifold. Some people have called it a multiverse. Some people have called it like an infinitely large planet. I leave it purposefully vague because the goal of it is to give everyone who plays their own little corner of this eternal playground, which you can do whatever you want with. Humans are the assumed norm in Manifold, but are far from the only option, for the record. And the only things that are consistent in Manifold are, one, there is a shared global language called Metro. Not everyone is guaranteed to speak Metro, but all player characters should be at least bilingual in it, unless you want to make life extremely hard for yourself. And where you travel in Manifold, people are very likely to be at least bilingual in Metro, though sometimes I'll be an asshole and throw in a mission where no one can speak it. So besides that one kind of commonality, the only other thing that is a constant across the infinite world of Manifold is the Enclave, which is this secretive, eternal mercenary organization that's at the very heart of this infinite world. It's everywhere, but it's known to almost no one. And all of your characters are agents in the Enclave's employ. And they're deployed across Manifold on all manner of secret missions on its behalf. Oh, excuse me. I'm getting a knock at my door. I gotta go say goodnight to my boys. I'll be right back.
That is totally fine.
Hello. Yes, you
If you've been enjoying again,
Oh,
this is so wholesome.
Yeah.
This is
So many tiny barbarians.
I know.
So
That's
good.
exactly what I was thinking.
You want to say goodbye?
But folks, if you've been enjoying this, please go down into the links, check out Enclave. If you're new to this and you've never seen Enclave, we're new to this too, and this looks like it's going to be a blast. So if you can, check out the Kickstarter, folks. Kickstart, support this, because I think we're all in awe right now. I think our collective silence.
Stop pandering. We'll do what we want, Vince.
There's a lot of thought going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
And also hit the buttons.
Yep.
Hit the
Yeah.
buttons for Enclave. Hit the buttons for us. If you have money, give Okami money. Also give Robby money.
Yeah.
if you don't have money, then like, subscribe, share, do all that wholesome stuff, and keep yourself out of the demi-plane of sludge. Yeah.
Yeah, not sharing the Kickstarter for Enclave probably going to get you a visit from Steve in the demi playing the Sludge. We're just going to warn you ahead of time. It's not a threat. It's a slight promise.
Yes.
I'm pinning the message for the Kickstarter again because it disappeared for no reason. Okay, there we go. Now
Forget
it's
that
Wednesday.
Racky's
Listen,
gonna
if
come.
they refuse to like the Kickstarter or at least view it on their own time, I will appear in their home, spin their pillow like a revolver to the warm side, and make them sleep on it.
Thank you for your patience. Just had to do dad stuff.
Quite all right. I have
There's
my
never
little
an
fur
apology.
babies walking around me, making sure I'm alive.
No, trust me.
So pardon me, I was doing world building spiel. Yeah, I think that's the end of it, fortunately. Do you guys have any questions about world building stuff? Or are any of you feeling confident with name, appearance, background?
So I have a name.
Yep.
And I went through a couple of versions of it, but to take a note from Speedy's book where he loves to put a little insert middle name or like nickname here, I've decided to go with Benny Angel Eyes Quinn.
Oh.
And Benny is spelled Bennie. So it's very ambiguous as to who or what Benny is.
Excellent. You don't happen to know the wonderful Fistful of Dollars franchise, do you?
Oh, yes, I do. Yeah, I was
Whenever I
very
hear-
tempted. I wanted to go by the moniker of the man with possibly a name.
Well, whenever I hear Angel Eyes, I just think of that.
Yeah.
Oh, you right.
I very much was thinking like, what do I want to play around? And that came to me. Now that you say that, that's a good point as well. I did not connect my own dots, but I like it even more.
I dig it. Yeah, sick. All right, we got Benny the Wanderer. Do you have an idea of appearance and background, or do you need a little more time for that?
I'm working on that right now, so
Sure, take your time.
I'm jotting and plotting.
Do you have? Does anyone else have name, appearance, and background for me?
I don't have.
I have Here's the question.
Yeah.
Is it assumed the gunslingers allowed a vanity hat?
Oh yeah. I mean, you're allowed. You
my
can. Part of your
goodness.
appearance can be clothes. They just won't have like cool supernatural effects.
That's fine. Now, the reason I say this is for some reason, whenever I give a character a TTRPG, I am just stubbornly hard to kill. For reasons that not even the
Science
Eldritch
can explain. Yeah.
Yes. So I was gonna go bringing back a throwback. Shin's gonna groan and go, "I knew it." This man will be named. This man will be named Draco.
I knew it.
And I already have I have an idea for his appearance.
Awesome.
He's gonna have a black just dress shirt, like a brown like tweed vest, and just black dress pants and like brownish boots with his revolver on his side and like a flat gambler cap.
Cool. Sounds perfect.
With a really patchy beard and mustache.
What about backstory? Even if it's, again, super duper short, do you have any ideas for that?
He's from just a frontier town in the middle of God knows where, who survived on drinking and gambling.
Perfect. That is literally all you need. Nicely done. Welcome, Draco. Who else got an idea for me for name, appearance, background?
I got a question.
Yeah.
If you're summoned to the Enclave, do you live there between missions or do you go home?
Excellent question. So most agents do return home. Time works differently in different parts of Manifold, and you get to choose how it changes between when you go on mission and when you're off mission. Some people say, oh yeah, my character going on mission is them just walking into a closet in their house, and then they walk out as though no time had passed afterwards. So it's up to you, but there are agents who live at Enclave HQ who have like nowhere else to go. That's going to be something that I'm going to be expanding upon in the upcoming expansion.
Gotcha.
Excellent question, though.
I have kind of sort of a setup.
Excellent. What do we got?
Serafina, last name redacted. Nobody knows it. She likes it that way. And she has generally she looks like the clothes designer from The Incredibles. The short bob, yeah, Edna. But in a steampunk outfit. Pants, not a skirt.
Sick. That tracks.
But the weird thing is that her eyes are completely inverted. So like the sclera is actually black and the pupil is white. The glasses that she comes with, the reading glasses, usually cloak that and make her look normal. But she likes to pull them down and freak people out when she's trying to get information out of them.
Perfect. Do you have an idea for background?
No, not offhand.
Totally. Take your time.
Maybe that's redacted too.
Honestly, it's a good way to get around it.
You can do stuff like that. You can be like, that's classified for background. I will say that having some background, at least like a few threads to pull at, can really benefit characters on mission.
Yeah.
Specifically, especially for the will stat, the will, a unique mechanic tethered to will, Defiance, which allows you to throw off incoming like negative effects and things like that. One of the ways that you can trigger a Defiance involves kind of like tapping into your character's background. Not the only way to do it, but Defiance requires kind of a big character moment. And tethering that to backstory is a great way to get to it, but you can absolutely do it other ways too. So don't feel bound to that.
Yeah. I think maybe she was part of some like enclave experiment at some point. Maybe when she was young, it's probably where the freaky eyes come from.
Sure.
And yeah, she still works for them, but maybe there's some complicated feelings about that.
Yeah, totally. And again, you can choose what you want to add to that as you play, or leave it as is. There are plenty of characters whose backstories pretty much remain untouched, but it's nice to leave the option open. Any others for name, appearance, background?
I was gonna do a different accent, but I realized I'm not gonna be able to hold it for any length of time. So I'm gonna stick with the name I had, but I'm not gonna do the same accent. It's gonna hurt. But Torenbjorn Jarnson, and there's no way I'd be able to hold that forever.
Oh my god, you're the chef Muppet.
You might be.
Appearance is just absolutely huge specimen of a man with scars all over, with one of the worst resting bitch faces of all time. Very nice though, if you stand there long enough to talk without running
Tell me
away.
he has like a really squeaky voice, like that one guy from Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, I probably couldn't hold that either.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
I love that.
Approved.
And
I love
then
that.
background, like a loved leader of his village and/or fiefdom, but he knows he can help more people out here. So I'll probably try to mess with him time-wise, where it's
Sick.
leading into conflicts when he goes to Enclave HQ.
Yep, you have complete control over what's happening to your character off mission, so that can be a great way to like lead into things. And lastly, for Benny, do we have any idea
Yeah.
for background?
So in this time I have. It's gonna crack me up every time I talk Bjorn. I'm not gonna lie.
Amos already knows what's gonna happen if I try to do an Aussie accent.
Oh, I already know.
I think you're literally just gonna piss yourself laughing every time you try.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
That wasn't the accent I was going for, but yes, that does happen every
You will
time.
probably. I do think you will devolve into Joey Wheeler. I agree. But Benny Angel Eyes Quinn, I've decided. Shortcut black hair, well kept beard, also black. Carries a leather messenger bag. Wears kind of like Hogwarts kind of robe, but like very hooded, almost modern fashion-esque. If you're, it's almost not so much ritual, but he just kind of wears it as like a very nice little flourish to himself. But he underneath that he wears almost like an old Western gambler's outfit, so like a green and black vest, white
So you're
shirt.
ripping me off, got it.
No. Hear me out. But modernized, very sleek, very kind of think if you're familiar with anyone listening, if you're familiar with the Guilty Gear franchise, the fighting game franchise, Slayer, almost vampiric looking, but he's not a vampire in any way, shape, or form. But he's very much over business casual, and he likes to, and he's always nicely dressed up because his backstory is that he was running a grift on a woman, and she stole his heart, and he's been looking for her ever since, and accidentally found himself around here.
Perfect. Yep, that gives you tons to work with. Excellent. All right, friendos, that sounds perfect. In that case, that is all you need to do for character creation.
That was easy.
Typically, obviously, we took some time, we had some fun, but as you can see, it's a pretty fast process, especially once you kind of get the hang of it. So obviously we're not going to be able to do a mission today, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take from you guys right now before we devolve into other stuff a set of focus words, which I'm going to use to generate the mission when next we play. Normally, I like to get these the day of, the session of, and just do it completely on the spot. But since we're only going to have about 2 hours next time, in interest of time, I may as well come to session with something already ready for you. And what are focus words? A focus word is any word or short phrase at all, which I will use as inspiration to come up with a scenario for you guys to deal with. I will design around your character's capacities, and I will be designing around the focus words, using them as like major pillars of inspiration. I will reaffirm any word or short phrase. The one thing I will say is if you're looking for silly and you give me serious, you're probably not getting silly. So tone is very important in focus words. But they can be literally anything. And I would like one from each of you. One word or short phrase.
Is it really bad? The first thing that came to my mind as the gunslinger, knowing my character, is oops, I did it again.
Perfect.
I
think I killed Shin.
I think no, that the first you said that, and the first thing that came to my mind was, I hope this doesn't leave a bruise.
Excellent. What else we got?
I feel like it would have to be something like, I've never seen anything like this.
Got it?
Manifestation.
Okay. It's such a shame I have to say this. I already have an idea. Now, I think this is as good a time as any to double check with you guys what you guys prefer on the stream. I try to make sure that I tailor my content to the people who are playing and watching, and I don't want to go overboard with something that's ridiculously intense or suggestive, if that's not what you're here for.
As you were saying that,
No.
I just stared at Awaz's name in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is quite literally, in my opinion, speaking for myself, that nothing you could do to us that we haven't already done to ourselves or each
You've never
Yeah,
I'm not sure that's true.
I'm a local freak, hi.
Our span and swap is quite wide. We cast a wide net.
Cool.
It's the best way to put it.
Sure.
The only way you can upset our audience is if they suggest something and we don't immediately look at it, and then they leave angrily.
That's true. That's happened more than once.
Listen,
I
unfortunately, me and Shin, literally the phrases, oops, I did it again, and I hope that doesn't leave a bruise, has happened multiple times in multiple different scenarios.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, no guarantee I go in that direction. I just like to make sure I have my options open, you know what I mean?
No, I completely understand.
Cool.
Listen, I just pray I don't sell you guys' souls to a weird Anglo-Saxon sounding demon.
Please do not sell any of our compatriots' souls again.
Should I introduce you to the Manchester Mangler again?
No.
There's one demon who already has all our souls.
Murmur?
Yeah. Hi, Murmur.
Yeah.
You're back.
Aw, missed Murmur.
Now that we have characters done and we have focus words ready for our session next time, before anything else, do you guys have any general questions for me about the game? We can do it from chat too if you'd like. And if not, can I tell you about anything else about the upcoming expansion, about other elements of the game, anything of the like?
I think it's going to be a column A, column B. I think if that's okay with you, first and foremost, obviously, we want to make sure you're okay with questions, and then being able to talk about the game and the future of the game, obviously, because this is what people are going to be able to see.
Of course. It's very unlikely you will ask me a question I will not be wildly enthusiastic about answering.
That's good.
Yeah. So I guess, and as I went through and was reading, I noted one of the sections that you have was a play flow sample, just for like how Enclave is. Obviously, with this being a diceless game, and obviously a diceless game in theory, well, not in theory, in play, in gameplay, and everything like that. How did you find you were able to contain the full, like, give someone full reign of imagination, yet keep it contained? I feel like that's always a tough thing to do, is like a DM, a narrator, whatever you may call yourself for the nature of the TTRPG you're playing. It's always tricky to give your players free reign, but also rein in your players' freedom sometimes. Like having that push and pull. How did you find a good balance of that?
Oh yeah, excellent question. So the best way I can explain it is threefold. The first one is common sense. If you have presented your players with a given scenario and they know their characters have certain capacities and they try to do something that is beyond their characters' capacities, pretty much everyone involved knows. Even the player knows. And they'll be like, can I please, can I just try? You know, and if
No.
if it's really borderline, then you can be like, okay, maybe you can talk me into it. But everyone knows if it's obviously not okay or like obviously unrealistic, and you just say, no, come on, you know that. And usually people don't try that more than once or twice. So I think the first one is having a game that is predicated on common sense, because so many times simulationist style games have rules and mechanics that are blatantly anti-common sense. And they are asking you to trust the rules rather than your common sense. And I think that is always a mistake. The second thing I would mention is the way that the game itself is structured. So Enclave dumps you into a very specific scenario every single time you play. And you only have really the one session to kind of fiddle with the metaphysics of the area. Like, let's say you go to a place where you're like, wow, my magic is like stronger than normal in this place. I wonder what the implications of that are. Well, you're only going to find out for one fucking session. So if it's broken, then I don't have to deal with you anymore. So that's another thing, is the way that it's structured means that it really encourages experimentation. And it also means that if something is bad, you don't have to do it again, instead of being committed to it for a fucking 12 session campaign. The third thing that I think is really important in that is that we have very specific elements of Enclave where we are actively telling people, do something cool here. Put your imagination here. Like, for example, the arcane stat is a stat that encourages people to try to produce novel magical effects. They're bounded. They have to be pretty weak in most cases. But that's us saying, here, you want to try to like introduce new ideas, get this stat. Another example, we have a mechanic called energy work. Very important part of the game. Not something you have to do the first time you play, but as you become more of a veteran, it becomes very important, where you can adapt and adjust your abilities and any other supernatural capacity you have based on the situations you find yourself in. And so because of that, that mechanic is us saying, here is how you can do something cool. Here is how you can push your imagination. Here's how you can push the boundaries of the game with this specific mechanic. Make sure you're sticking within the lanes of this specific mechanic. And if you're not, I'm going to say no. And so that way, it's a game that very heavily encourages experimentation and creativity, but it's giving you very specific ways to do it. And that is specifically because if we said do it however you want, I would argue it would not be a game anymore, because a game wants structure and a game wants the ability to have a failure state. And Enclave provides both of those things.
I feel like I'm going to be taking a lot of notes from you as we play, because I think I'm going to have notes because reining in. I asked obviously because that's, I think, like I said before, the biggest problem that I think any GM runs into. So the fact that you found a way to do that is just, I can tell this took a lot of trial and error, and it took even more like fine tuning. And I must say this is incredible to see.
I'm glad to hear it. And it, like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and from a very weird standpoint, that meant that I was like spared a lot of the bad habits of the industry. Um,
Mm.
and so I think I'm in a very lucky position, frankly. But one of the great things is that a lot of the lessons that Enclave kind of has, that I mean, I've had beaten into my head over years and years of failure, are very easily extrapolable to other game systems. I've had a couple of people say, yeah, even though I only play Enclave like once or twice a month, sometimes like even only a couple times a year, I use stuff from it. I steal from it all the time, and that makes me happy. Any other questions?
I did have one, but I
A
forgot what it
slightly
was.
open-ended one.
Mhm.
As for pitches for people using it for abilities and such,
Mhm.
do you have one or a few favorites that you've seen someone pitch to you for their abilities?
That's awesome. Awesome question. It totally depends on the type of pitch, but as to give a bird's eye view, a pitch is a mechanic in Enclave by which a player can suggest an in-game detail, angling for it to fall in their favor. Uh, Pitching is tethered to specific stats or abilities or similar. So, for example, the luck stat is based in pitches. You're pitching an element of the plot that you'd like to be in your favor. The librarian's book bag is a pitch item. You can pitch what books are in it. It's really versatile. It's really fun. I'd say it's one of the most kind of cornerstone mechanics in Enclave. In terms of some of my favorites, that's a great question. I think one of the most memorable ones that I can think of off the top of my head, I'll give you two examples. One is from an ability, one's from a stat. So the librarian ability, fun fact, is an extremely powerful ability. It's a pitching tool that allows you to define a truth about the world with a pitch, as though it has to be something that you could have read in a book. And so you're saying, oh, fun fact, blank. And then that becomes true if I accept that pitch, and has been true all along, which means you have to kind of fit it within the existing framework that the game's presented to you thus far. So for fun fact, I had a very memorable one where people were trying to do like a blockade run and escape this harbor. There were ships everywhere. It was a disaster. It was an awesome mission. And at one point, oh, excuse me, I'm getting a knock on my door again. At the worst possible time for my story.
It's all good.
No, the suspense, the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Also, Lacara, I could tell that when you heard the ability and how it works, I know your smile went from ear to ear.
Oh,
Just
fun fact.
yeah, fun fact. Just ear to ear smile. I know
There
that
you
you
go.
are grinning.
Ooh,
I am
what
still
is the paired
flabbergasted.
action for fun fact? Is it just saying fun fact? Hold on, let me
Okay,
check.
pardon me.
Yeah, you have
Anyway,
to be like,
so-
oh, hey, fun fact.
Pardon me.
Blah, blah, blah. It's supposed to be a
Librarian
perky
ability fun fact.
exclamation.
Yeah.
This is actually
Oh.
how I run my life. This fun fact. I do this on a daily basis.
Excellent. Well, one of the things about fun fact is that you actually do have to like share the fun fact with someone for it to work. You have to be like a know-it-all in order for it to work, which is fun. But one of my favorite fun facts is the librarian pitched that the harbor they were trying to escape during this blockade run, they was like, yeah, so there definitely have been shipwrecks here. He said, fun fact, there was a famous shipwreck here that was carrying unexploded munitions. That was awesome. And then he coordinated this to his Thunderbird, who detonated the munitions to cover their escape from the harbor.
Oh,
That's amazing.
Awesome,
amazing.
awesome play. So tight. That's one of my favorite fun facts I've ever seen, and a great pitch. But another pitch that I loved, which was a luck pitch that someone's had. Again, luck can pitch any element of the plot. It can even pitch the behavior of NPCs and stuff like that. Very, very versatile, but it's not always going to work out. And so there was a luck pitch we once had, where the player was trapped on like a garage roof with like a couple of very angry dogs around. And they were playing, I think, a Wanderer or something. They were completely non-combat, and they were completely stuck. Their team was off somewhere. They were like, God damn, I'm so fucked by these dogs. And they look around and they're like, bees? And that was the luck pitch. They're like, please tell me there's a bee's nest around here. And I was like, yeah, I'll give you a bee's nest. You have like triple plus to luck, sure. And what they did is they took their walking stick and they fucking baseball batted that shit and ran.
That's amazing.
It was great. I mean, they got stung to hell, but the dogs ran off, so it was awesome.
That's amazing.
Because the great part about it is they weren't just like fun. Oh, can I do a luck pitch that like I can escape? Like, no, that's lame. They gave me a luck pitch that would still force them to do something else, and like in this case, eat a downside in order for me to just let them go. It was fun. It was clever. They did a great job committing to it. And their character, like, talk they did for the rest of the mission because they got stung all over the mouth.
I've already had some devious ideas for some trick shot pitches.
Oh yeah, there's some really cool ones.
I think my luck pitch and my satchel are going to be a fun thing.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be a fun thing.
The Wanderer is a pitch fiesta. Oh, I got another good one. A trick shot pitch. So trick shot is secretly, here's a little tip for you, gunslinger. Trick shot is secretly an accuracy booster because you get to pitch the angle that your shot bounces at, which effectively means you get to say where it's going, which is really good. Very, very strong, but it obviously has to be plausible, and that's where it gets tricky. And so I had this one player who was like, man, he had to pull off a shot with a sharps rifle, and it was like a 1/4 mile shot. It was no laughing matter. He has great stats for it. He has like quad plus skill, triple sensory. It's not impossible, but it's still wildly unlikely. And he's aiming for this high priest, and he's like, and he's hanging upside down, I should add. And so really stacked against him. And he's like, okay, if I trick shot and just kill him, obviously you're not going to give me that. And so what he gives me is he's like, okay, trick shot. I want my shot to bounce off of the stone wall in front of the priest and hit the like ceremonial relic he's holding above his head. Not trying to kill the priest, trying to break his object. So he deliberately didn't just take the easy route and say, "Oh, I insta-killed a bad guy." He did something cinematic and cool. He had a fucking amazing paired action for it too. Hanging by his leg, moving at speed, trying to aim upside down like a 1/4 mile shot. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful paired action. And given that especially he wasn't just trying to insta-kill the main enemy and just win for free, I was like, hell yeah. I'll give you that. That was a really good balance between compromise and cool cinematic action.
I think that's amazing.
Any other questions?
No, I want to start
Excellent.
playing.
That's also a big part of it too. I feel like I was gonna say we'll ask one other thing. So I noticed that for all the different pitches, you give an idea of scaling, kind of like where it would fall in. What obviously this is again comes from it goes even back to my first question. When you were, how much of the scaling comes from actual play? Versus how much of it was where did you feel like you just kind of inferred would be like a natural
Makes sense.
I guess like a natural idea of what this power level and this amount of like effectiveness would be per se.
That's a great question. So in the rule set you have right now, most of it is inference. Because again, this rule set was my first attempt to actually write Enclave down after doing it oral tradition for years. And so I had a good idea of what I wanted and what I was pretty sure would work, but transliterating it was tough. In the upcoming Kickstarter, the relaunch of this core rule set is incorporating quite a lot of community feedback, all of which is based on actual play. So as a little fun fact for you, the librarian is cracked. it is by far the strongest class in the game. And that's something I would not have guessed until we've had, dozens, if not at this point over 100 librarians play. And it turns out it's fucked. However, it's a class that when you first pick it up, it's fun, but it doesn't feel overpowered. And once you play it for like 10 missions, you're like, wow, this is disgusting. But even then, in Enclave's past, we've definitely had classes that were stronger than it. And though I say words like cracked and disgusting, if I were to like arrange it on a scale of like 0 to 100%, 0 being completely crap, 100% being ridiculously overpowered, 50% being perfectly balanced, it would be like a 65. Not bad in the grand scheme of things. But we're going to tune it down in the expansion.
Fair.
Now, along those lines, if you'll briefly indulge me, can I tell you guys a little bit about what's coming in the expansion?
Yes, please.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, I'll give you a quick summary, right?
No, take all the time you want.
Yeah.
The expansion is, like I said, not repeating anything from the core rulebook, so the core is still the entry point into the game. However, the one thing it will repeat somewhat is the 6 core classes, but all of those classes are getting new stuff. Classes are all getting twice as many unique gear pieces, all of which you can start with all of them. Gear can be upgraded and adapted in different ways. And also, all classes are getting 3 additional abilities, which you don't start with. You have to unlock as you level up, and they are much stronger because of it. Additionally, we are adding 6 new classes to the game, all of which will be like as comprehensive as these updates will be. So they'll all have 12 unique gear pieces, 6 unique abilities. Those classes are as follows. The Berserker, pretty classic. Just brawl, murder everything, but risk to allies. The Free Runner, which is a modern parkour athlete. The Vessel, which is a seemingly innocent bearer of an evil entity that is fighting to get out. The Witch, it was called the Witch Hunter, now it's called the Witch Finder, which is a social manipulation class that has a powerful anti-magic sub-theme. Then we have the Infiltrator, which is a stealth class focused on information gathering and team coordination. And lastly, we have the Samaritan, which is a support healer that is based in charity. Hey guys, I'm really sorry. Do you mind if I pop out for a moment? I'm being beckoned.
No,
You're good.
go ahead.
I'll be back in just a couple minutes. Excuse me.
No worries. So, all of us lit up at that Warlock mention, eh?
Not at all.
Ooh.
Even they lost to all of us.
Did you say Warlock?
Did you say evil? I heard evil entity, and I said, say no more. Evil entity? Like, how evil?
That
Like
that one honestly just sounds so much like that's begging for it to be funny. Like to have the one person be so chill and nonchalant and like really kind, and then they get taken over at the most inopportune moment.
It's literally Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
Not even Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I think of it almost as just like you have the worst, like you truly have the worst trigger. I would almost make it into something that like maybe was like related to an emotional trigger, or even something like as dumb as remember my sneezing triggered wild magic.
I don't want to talk to you.
Or like
I don't
in
wanna talk to you
Dan to
anymore.
Dan, if you get wet water on Iggy, he'll transform.
Yeah.
Sorry, not wet water, cold water. My bad.
I was gonna say,
I was like,
wet
nope,
water.
that's the same thing.
If you get wet water on EG, if you get wet water on anything, I think it'll transform.
Yeah, you just have to say it 3 times. Wet water, wet water, wet water.
Oh no. There goes Speedy.
Yeah, I think
And then suddenly moist.
No.
you had to do it, didn't you? You felt the absolute need to do it. I know you did.
Oh man.
Did I stutter?
Oh,
There's your
What did you have?
short for this week, Okami.
I was Ranma as well. Yeah. I was thinking
Definitely
it
some
doesn't
Ranma.
need to be temperature, it just needs to be water. Sorry, Ranma.
It would have to be something so random, but something that would happen like every day.
So
Like
there's
every time you hear the name Steve.
there's a there's there's a series for Shazam, the DC Comics guy. They're Captain Marvel, whatever. But one of his bad guys is Black Adam, and they both transform by saying Shazam. But Shazam put a spell on Black Adam that changed his command word so he couldn't become Black Adam, and he could not figure out what it was. So he just started living his life as a regular person. And he goes to like the diner in Fawcett City, and he's like, "Can I have a milkshake, please?" And lightning strikes down from the heavens and transforms him into Black Adam. And he's like, "I hate that boy so much," because he basically made him be a regular person. He had to use regular people words to get his powers back.
Oh, that's great. I'm just also imagining though, like you have instead of like a trigger word or something like that, like it's like you anytime you see like a certain color or like a certain pattern, like polka dots, and you just go off.
Ooh.
Yes.
And you just have, but like your character has like a handkerchief or like a ripped piece of fabric that's just like polka dot. Or like one of the player, like one of you guys has like another player always wears like a polka dot outfit, and it's just like here, and they just like flash this character, and it's just like, oh god, polka dots, no! It just blows up the whole room, just transforms into an evil entity and
It's
turns the whole room into ghost.
Okami, it's the moonlight orb.
Yep. 100%.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
tired of getting shot, man.
In my campaign, Okami became a weredeer. You guys know this. But
It's my favorite were animal yet.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
But on a side quest that I used a one-shot supplement for, it happened to have a moonlight orb in it, which I did not think anything of. It was just a little trinket. I figured someone would stick it in their inventory and forget about it. Except our... Oh, what the hell is Barge? I keep thinking
Hobgoblin. Feywild Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin. Feywild Hobgoblin latched onto it, put it in his bag, and takes great glee in opening it up and making Okami transform into the weredeer in the middle of the most random situation.
Weredeer are also not that common in the world, so it leads to me
He's
getting
gotten
shot.
Yeah.
That's odd.
I bet you're real tired of getting shot now, huh? I love the fact that there's just weredeer now, though, like in the world, because there's somebody out there who's seen you transform and is running around just going, weredeers, they're invading, and people are like, okay, Grandpa, take your medicine.
Mm-hmm. And it's worse because the weredeer's special ability is that they can turn invisible for an hour and nothing breaks it unless they want it to break. So I got bit by an invisible guy.
That is
You were bitten by a ghost.
Literally, you were bitten by an invisible ghost deer.
Yep.
That is
Have fun sleeping tonight.
I barely sleep as is, but now it's gonna be even worse. Every crick and crack will be like, that's the ghost deer coming to fight.
Considering I unfortunately have too many ideas for my group of degenerates that I'm going to be running through some tabletop shenanigans. Lacara, I think I've briefly touched upon how mean they are.
Yes. Yes, we discussed that last night. I
True.
think you could throw in a few invisible weirdeer.
Yeah.
I think you need
Did
some.
I
We can
ever
send you
tell
the
you,
stat block.
Lacara, how one of them almost got eaten by a cornfield?
By
Is
a
this
cornfield?
like the corn
Is this a thing we
boss
reviewed
in...
that
Yeah,
time?
about that. I'm
Welcome
being
back.
kept
Welcome
honest
back.
tonight.
Listen, the player almost got eaten by a cornfield. It was their own fault.
Yeah,
You
classic.
you left for 2 seconds. We're talking about carnivorous cornfields and weirdeer.
Wow, quite. Well, don't let me interrupt a good conversation. If you have more questions, fire away. But it sounds like you guys.
Would you ever go into a slightly creepy cornfield in the middle of Idaho? No, Illinois, sorry.
Me
Yes.
alone in real life?
Think alone in real life, but you may or may not have supernatural powers to a degree.
Okay, like what's the incentive? Is it just like for fun and profit, or?
If you stay in town, it's basically Children of the Corn, but if you go into the cornfield, you might get away from them.
Or you might become one of them.
Mm.
Or the cornfield might literally eat you because there's sentient magpies and corn.
Oh, you didn't tell me that there were.
Yeah,
sentient
I was
corvids
assuming you meant
involved.
the ground.
Oh
So
no,
you're-
I did mean the ground, and there's several rumors as to what is happening in there, but no one.
Because
So
no one can make
the
it out.
question is, get converted into a horror or possibly die escaping?
No, it's more or less you become food for just a tree that has gained a taste for blood.
Oh my god, what is the
just
tree's name?
supernatural ley
Clubs,
lines
where
are
are
just
you?
consuming your soul, or there's an ancient, unspeakable vampire lurking underneath the soil that eats people through the corn.
Jesus Christ. I guess I'd prefer to get eaten, presumably.
Interesting.
If I had to come down to it, yeah, I don't know. I feel like soul sucking is something I'm not in for. So
I'm just staring at the
you.
chat, waiting for Awas to say something.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm going to
Actually,
just
you
beat
know what the
Awas.
worst part
I'm
is?
beating Awas to punch. It's going to be
My
a
no-
transcendental suck. When she says she's going to suck the life out of you.
Listen, I already know Awaz can't control. I know something's coming.
I know. It's probably going to be long. That's why it's taking so long to pop up.
It's going to be whoever goes in the corn.
No, she's bucking the trend. The expectation has become too great. She can't answer the call every time.
True.
Goodness gracious.
I'm carrying
There
him. That's fair.
Wait, are you in the cornfield? Or
I was
next to
gonna
it
say
right
Awas
now?
is from the cornfield.
Yeah, probably. Oh no.
Awaz is like,
You know, if I wasn't going to do a new job, I'd be like, Awas, you need a got my boots and everything.
She's got horses you could hang out with.
Horses.
I was going to ask, I took screenshots, the JPEGs I had mentioned for the other people. I have a screenshot of the character sheet, printable, and the quick reference guide. Are you okay if I share those in our Discord for people who want them?
Yeah, fire away. That's totally fine by me.
Okay, cool.
I will ask you another quick question.
Please.
Well, so what gave you the idea for the title Enclave?
It's a really good question. So the best way I can say it is I had the word enclave waltz into my head when I was about 16 years old, and it didn't leave. And so you could say I was trying to find a game for the name. And it took me a little while, but I got there. Took me a couple of years. But then I made a game, one of many, that I was like, oh, what should I call this one? As I'm like working on it. And then I'm like, maybe this is Enclave. Maybe this is the game I've been waiting for that is called Enclave.
Right.
And it was. So I find that I often design name first, which might sound weird and backward and counterintuitive. But for example, when I made the librarian, and I was like, they need to have an ability called Knowledge is Power. I trust that I can find an effect that will make sense. but I want to start with the name because the name is really strong. I think names have a lot of power. So I designed name first, and Enclave was the name that I had. And I needed to find a game to fit to it.
This is so sick. This is just the idea of it. I can say wholeheartedly that when you think about, like, as someone who's only played TTRPGs with dice, and I have intermittent years of play, but the idea at first is hearing diceless, like my brain is rapid fire wrapping around like how do you have role play with no need to roll? Like how do you have full role play that's only ROLE with no ROLL? I guess is the best way to put it to define roll and roll in this situation. And as I read through things, as I saw the class, as I see how you've branched it out, I'm like, you've literally taken the dice and turned those numbers into words and put the onus on the player to think outside of what you just slap on a character sheet in a way, which is, I think, the greatest goal of D&D is to kind of sandbox and keep that idea alive of think beyond just what I'm giving you. Think what else you could pitch into things, like the pitch idea and stuff like that. It's wonderfully crafted.
I'm delighted to hear it. And something I will say is something many people have told me is that Enclave is what they have done to D&D. You know what I mean? A lot of people are like, "Oh, I've been playing D&D this way forever, but like this is just what I've wanted D&D to be, or what I've done with D&D to make it more fun for me." Because I think at the end of the day, one of the biggest benefits of a diceless system, even though I didn't go into this thinking that, I just went into it that way because that's what I knew. I only ever designed diceless. Was that diceless makes the game the players more, because not only are your actions what are determining outcomes 100% of the time, not luck. Not only do you have a lot more control over the plot through things like pitches, through the decisions you make, you're way less constrained on what actions you can take. But on top of that, it gives a wonderful amount of skill expression, where the way that you are describing what you are doing and the way that you are showcasing your commitment to your character and all of these wonderful intangibles that we know make tabletop role-playing games wonderful, those are what are actually incentivized and rewarded. And it allows for a kind of skill expression, like I said, that is so different than what you'd think of as skill expression in other games. It's not trigger reflex. It's not bashing your head against numbers forever until you get the right answer. It is a skill in words and commitment that I think is accessible to way more people.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. I think the term TTRPG, even though, you can't say the word D&D nowadays without connecting to Dimension 20, Roll 20, or Critical Role, Dimension 20, Matt Mercer, Brennan, all those kind of famous, now more famous and like outfacing DMs in the TTRPG realm. And I think that there's a lot of people who hear D&D and just have like this idea of it being, you have to delve into something that's super high fantasy. And Enclave sounds like the system for the person who's like, I want to play a TTRPG, but I don't necessarily want to always be in a medieval castle or in the lands of the forest or something like that. Even though D&D is not limited to that in its own right as well. But this is kind of a great way, I feel like, to say to someone, hey, let's just play a game. Don't worry about the rest. Let's just play a game.
A lot more flexibility and also way less setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say character creation was a fun, like a lot more fun, I'd almost say, than sometimes rolling a new character, because there is a certain level of, oh man, I got stats. I hope I don't roll bad stats for this character. You know what I mean? That that one low die that you roll on those 4d6s, and you're just like, please tell me I get to drop the lowest one. Please. Just this is a fun way to do that. I like this. I'm excited. I'm with DM Lacara. I'm so ready to play.
Well, I have a question about actually dealing with different kinds of parties. Because it sounds like you've been running Enclave games with a lot of people for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And while like the thing that drew me into it was that it's not about staring at your character sheet and trying to figure out if you have the stats to do what you're trying to do. It's getting more more interactive with the world. Like it is just you and the group of people talking about what you're doing, which is my favorite part of it. And as a relatively new DM, it can be a real struggle sometimes with some of the more conventional systems like D&D to get people to stop trying to win the game and just play the game. But like how have you dealt with, if you've come across groups playing Enclave that are just like trying to break it, that are just like, well, I don't have to roll for this, so I'm just gonna do the thing and it's gonna work.
Well, the easiest thing you do is you say no. Because at the end of the day, if they are doing something that is a judgment call and they are being a twat, then I have no obligation to say it works. And that is a really useful part about Enclave, where when we are, first of all, it's common sense rules. So if something should work, it does. If something shouldn't work, it doesn't. And for that wiggle room, the way we determine calls that could go one way or another, we call them swing situations, is we ask ourselves 3 questions as conduits. Conduit is what we call a host in Enclave. 1, how well has the player described what they are doing? And if I ask them to elaborate, could I be convinced? That solves a lot of them by itself. That's that awesome descriptive skill thing I was talking about. Second of all, would one of these outcomes be lame? Would it just murder the story in its tracks? Would it be a bad payoff? Would it trivialize or invalidate everything we've been building towards? If so, don't do that. But lastly, and I'd say most importantly, how has the player behaved out of character up until this point? Or like, how have they contributed to the session is a better way of putting it. Have they been enthusiastic? Have they been invested? Have they been bigging up their friends and other people at the table? Have they been pleasant to host for? And above all else, have they been trying to keep character? And if the answer is yes, you give it to them. You give them the benefit of the doubt in these swing situations. If they are trying their damnedest and they're being fun and they're giving good descriptions and they're enthusiastic, just give it to them. And because we give people the benefit of the doubt in these swing situations, it lets us make Enclave way harder than you would find in a lot of other tabletop role-playing games. You do stuff at level 1 in this game you can't do in other games. But also, it means that if someone is being a bastard, they don't get what they want. Unless you want to tread the incredibly fine line of being a bastard who always takes perfectly common sense plays, which is doable. I'm not going to say it's impossible. In fact, I've seen people do it, and I'll be like, you know what? I'm probably not going to have you back, but credit to you, you actually pulled it out. And so that is a conversation I've had, but I think it's vanishingly rare. At the end of the day, I found that a lot of people are, when they look at Enclave, are like, wow, geez, how do you deal with a bad player? And the answer is you don't play with them. And I think that is a truism across our genre that so many people underrate.
Yes.
Because there's this, okay, so I only recently got into kind of learning about D&D history, and there was some D&D mags from like the late 70s, early 80s, where they were talking about a lot of these concepts. And there's this quote that's really stuck with me. Was that a session of Dungeons and Dragons is first and foremost a social gathering and should be treated as such. You should be a good host. You should be gracious. You should be a gracious guest. You should be pleasant to be around. You should help do the dishes before you leave. You should serve snacks. This is wildly important. And I feel like we're allowing our genre to be reduced to the lowest common denominator of sweaty asshole in a game store. And I don't think that's healthy. pardon me, soapbox is off, but that's a
No.
summary of like
No,
how I deal with
It's
like
makes
bad players at a
so
table.
much
Is
sense.
you say no, and the game enables and encourages you to say no by saying, you know, the swing situation formula, my guy. You're being a douche, and I don't have any obligation to give you the benefit of the doubt in this case. But I would say that, so as for transparency, I have hosted probably over 2,000 sessions of Enclave at this point. I have hosted for probably upwards of 600 people, maybe higher at this point. I would say the number of people who I would actually put in the category of bad enough that I actually rule against them in those cases is less than 10, probably less than 5.
That's pretty good odds.
Yeah.
Most people are good. And even the ones who are kind of mid, once they get into it, they're great. And they're like, okay, I feel it. You're not my enemy. A lot of people go into this shit thinking that the host is their enemy. And that's wildly, in Enclave, we are rooting for you to succeed. We are heartbroken when you fail. But heartbreak tells awesome stories. So you got to embrace it.
I love that answer, because I feel like so much emphasis is put
Thanks for the
in the
raid.
world of TTRPGs in... Oh.
It's Dippy's guys. Hey there, Anipod.
Heyo.
Oh.
Yay.
Pardon me.
There is... I have no idea what happened, but yay!
I regret just reading what AWAS wrote a while ago.
I don't. We knew it was coming. It just took a while.
I feel like a lot of emphasis is put in the world of TTRPGs into, you know, your GM is never allowed to say that something just can't happen. Like, always say yes is like so hammered at you. And I feel like at a certain point that not only does that kind of break the world that you've put all of this effort into building, like, don't railroad people, but also I feel like it's kind of feeding that attitude of your host is your enemy, you're trying to beat the host, where it's like a role for the host, so that, like, the implication is that, like, they're trying to kill you. And as much as we joke about that on the Roundtable,
Well, against my players specifically, sure.
I am guilty of being the prime culprit of jokingly wanting to kill players, but I never want to kill a player. I actually want to see the player succeed.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, even us who joke about that pretty wildly, like, we want it to go well. So I feel like that's almost kind of undercutting, and saying no in a healthy way like that, like, no, you can't break it, try something else, is just a better answer.
Yep. And have a reason. And what I always encourage is, after sessions, say to your players, all right, do you guys have any questions about calls that I made? That sells so much, because the player's like, yeah, I tried this thing and it just fucking didn't work. Can you tell me why? And then you can let them behind the curtain say, yes, there was this hidden information about the mission that blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And sometimes you can say, like, listen, it was a swing situation. I just didn't get enough off you. You know, that sometimes that is enough. And they'll be like, fuck. Like, sometimes the worst they'll get is, next time, can you, like, ask me for more? I think I could have gotten more. And if you say, sure, but maybe in the moment I needed to keep the tempo up and we were getting too stuck on that. That's valid. Completely freaking valid. And I think that having these mature adult conversations of being good communicators is very scary to some people, but doesn't have to be. It can be very easy. Not to be pretentious about it, of course, but I think that we have a wonderful opportunity with tabletop role-playing games to encourage and foster social skills, and this is the way we do it.
Agreed. In addition to, like, players versus DMs, more often than not, it almost seems like every player who's coming wants to be in this co-opetition. And the co-opetition may work in some cases, but, like, the way that Enclave Advent is written, like, even from your play examples and what have you, it seems like you desperately you need the players to work together. And even when they come
You will
down to
die
sit
in Enclave
together.
without teamwork.
Like,
Enclave is very. I was gonna say Enclave is very much pushing the narrative again, going back to classic D&D of collaborative storytelling,
yeah.
which is what D&D truly is. It's it's almost like sitting in a circle and riffing about it. It's having a conversation, or like when we were kids in grade school. Maybe I'm dating myself when I bring this up, but like I remember you would play that game. We're going on a picnic, and you would just use the alphabet. But in truth, you were building a story. You're building an adventure because each of these items is something you brought on this picnic. And you just have to remember what somebody else brought. You're working with the person ahead and behind you and 6 rows ahead of you to build what this picnic is. And
Yep.
yes, someone is going to mess up, but then we all laugh and we go, "Ah, you forgot my 37th item." Haha.
Yep. And now you just add structure and stakes to that, and you make people cry when their character dies, and you're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Valid.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta say though, it's definitely also interesting when you think about the power of saying no to a player. And you brought it up by saying like, if a player's just an asshole, it's hard sometimes to like have that player at the table who sometimes you encounter people like this at times where they don't fully understand what's happening, so they just don't want anyone to have a good time. I've experienced
Yeah.
that at a table before, and it's always kind of hard to pull that person off the table because, you know, again, it's not cooperative, as you brought up before, Okami, and it's not a competition. It's not us versus the players. It's not anything like that. But it's also not something where any one player should shine more than that player chooses to shine. And you kind of brought up a very good point of not rewarding people not trying to be the character that they've chosen to embody. Enclave is rewarding you for choosing to think like your character.
Yeah.
And to bring that into yourself, which is like something I think gets lost in the narrative of over convoluted character sheets.
Yeah. I am very much looking forward to spending a couple of hours just talking in character and figuring out puzzles like that. That's what I play TTRPGs for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The combat is played the same way as the rest of the game, by the way. So get ready to describe precisely how you're shooting your gun, my friend.
Yeah, like
Oh, I
the
will.
way that
This
everything
one
is done,
will
and even
make
like
a
the way
good
that it's written after the play
game.
example, where you're basically saying your group is going to get better, more like you'll get more entwined with one another as you go. Your collaborative storytelling will get better. I think a lot of people don't seem to understand that. Like I've had so many people who want to play TTRPGs, but they're like, "Oh, there's rules. I can't learn them." And like nobody knows all the rules. You learn them as you go. That's the beauty of
Yep.
it.
Exactly. And we encourage that even in Enclave. I would say that in the last 2 years of actually having a fucking rule set, the number of times I have hosted for someone who has actually read it versus hasn't is probably 1 to 10.
I can see that.
So I for every one person who's read the rules, there's 10 who have not even opened it. And fortunately, it's a game that lends itself really well to that. But even in more intensive games, if you have someone who's patient, or rather both parties are patient, you can get someone through it. You can absolutely do so, and they'll pick it up better by doing it rather than reading. It's part of the reason too that we have such a short core rule set for Enclave. Something I often say is if you must read before you play, read the first 10 pages and make a character, and then everything else you can learn while you play.
That's good.
Yeah.
A really good philosophy. Good philosophy.
Sicka. You guys got any other questions for me? Or are we good?
I think
I'm-
we're good. I guess we should ask, do you have anything else to tell the people
Yeah.
about this?
Well, we got let me think. Besides the upcoming expansion classes, which I've told you about to some degree, can go into more detail if you'd like. We have A bunch of cool new mechanics coming up in the next rule set. For the campaign, we got a bunch of other great influencers we're working with. That's really sick. We have stretch goals that are really sick too. Oh, get this. For our stretch goals, obviously some of these are going to be like wildly moonshot, right? Because I have them just as in the back pocket in case the campaign somehow wildly pops off. We have stretch goals for 24 additional classes. So this could release with 36 fucking classes for everyone who backs.
That is. Well,
That's
you
a
had
lot of
mentioned
gameplay
before
time.
you had a. Well, you had mentioned before you had like 130 classes at one point.
Oh yeah.
So
I had
narrow it
plans
down
for
to even
another
32.
300 on top of that, by the way.
Mind me, so I'm in the process of going through what you've already accomplished as we right now of my own game, and I I now realize that the limitation of my brain on classes is nowhere close to as bad as I thought, because I limited myself for my own sanity, but now I realize like no, you truly embraced the inventiveness of that, because you were able to say, here's the world, here's the setting, here's what you need to know. Everything else let's build on the fly. And here's how we do it constructively.
Oh yeah.
And you got to then play around with all the additional things, which were your tropes, which then gave so much more life to things. And that's really sick, is how the classes breathe even more life into the backing.
Yep, that's
I,
precisely the idea, right? Is you give people these very specific pieces of structure, but you don't give them too much, and then everything else they fill in themselves. So if you're designing for yourself, think about what are the most important pieces of structure you can give people and which ones you can let them do themselves. Because it's usually a lot more than you think. Like most people are very confident and can get a lot out of a little.
Yeah.
true.
Along those lines as well, if you ever decide that you want to try to take your game to Kickstarter, let me know. I'm happy to tell you a bit about what I've learned.
Absolutely, absolutely. I absolutely will be tapping. I'm going to be following Enclave. Obviously, I think we all are. As I think we're all going to absolutely be following this through for this, because this is a sick system to get to not only get to witness and talk to you about, but like get to play next time, which is going to be fun. I I'm curious to see how our characters are going to interact,
Oh yeah.
because on paper, I after hearing our backstories and how our characters are, this is absolutely going to be another one of our usual how the hell did we get this together adventure.
Somehow it's going to be this version of Suicide Squad.
I don't
we
want anything.
I'm
always
calling it
end up,
now.
we always end up in some version of a like a no one should survive this, like how did we get here kind of style squad. It's part of the course.
How are you still
Perfect.
alive? I have no idea.
Well, what I
Run.
can round us off with is a quick summary of what Enclave Sessions structure is like, just so you know what we're doing when we dive in next time. So again, every time you play, you are doing a mission for the Enclave. Missions are a single session long, and even though your characters are continuous across missions, you can play with different people every time, different characters every time, because every mission is a one-shot. It's a self-contained story, but you still get level progress and the like between them. Mission starts with a mission statement. This is handled out of character. I tell you what your job is. You get to ask questions out of character. Everything we go over is known in character. Then we often do something called assembly, where your characters get to meet each other in character in the safety of Enclave HQ. We are probably going to skip that in the interest of time. You're just going to be dumped onto the mission. You will know who each other are, roughly speaking, but you won't necessarily have had a comprehensive summary of who each other are. From there, you are teleported straight to the mission's setting. Enclave just pops you there. You do the mission, and then at the very end, succeed or fail, your character's Enclave badges will ping. The Enclave badge is that cool thing on the cover of the book. It's like the iconic symbol of the book of the game. And so that badge will magically resonate. Tap your badge, teleport off the mission. If your character is incapacitated, then an ally will have to ping them off. The only way you do not escape is if you die. We have permadeath in Enclave. However, if you can teleport off the mission, no matter how fucked up you are, no matter how much you have lost, the Enclave will restore you to full immediately if you can escape. So there's a hard reset at the end of every single session.
Torbjorn likes that.
Does he get to keep scars if he wants, though?
Yes,
Oh,
you
that's a
do,
good
actually. That's going to be
Yes!
something we're going to expand upon in the expansion, too.
That was a good question. Thank you.
It's okay. I knew you would want to ask that and kick yourself if you didn't.
Yeah.
That is something that is entirely to the player's discretion.
Oh, that's awesome.
Excellent. Well, in that case, my friends, I think that is all I have to share for now. But I tremendously look forward to next session so that we can get it in there. It will be so when we start, I will give you mission statement immediately, and we'll just dump you into the action.
All right.
Sounds good.
Sounds awesome.
It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, we gotta win.
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah.
I bet you're wondering how we got here. The best, like, after reading through the book and having this conversation with you and going through all this stuff, the weirdest analog I can draw is I feel like this is going to be not just for me, but for most players, like a Kinfire Delve type situation, where Kinfire Delve's a card game where all 4 players have a different deck of cards, but in order to win, to delve down to the bottom of the well, you have to work together. And the game is so hard if you aren't actively having a conversation with the other players at the table. It is impossible to win unless you work with the other people. And even though my group, like various people in my group, have played once or twice, there's only of us that have been here for like 3 or 4 times where we finally get it. And we're like, I need you to show me your cards so we can figure out which cards work together well.
Oof, that's cool. Yep, you're not terribly far off. Now, imagine having to do that in character. With newer players, I'm okay with a little bit of out of character stuff, but you guys are really experienced tabletop players, so I might be strict.
Oh, that's no problem.
Don't threaten us with a
Thorin
good
Bjorn
time.
will ask for anyone's help. If they can give it, he's going to ask.
We got this.
Well, thank you guys so much for your time. Again, thank you for sharing your platform. I really look forward to bringing the game to you. And in the meantime, hit me up if you have questions, okay?
And all of you out there, you can join the Enclave Discord. There's a link in the YouTube description and in the YouTube chat, and there's also one in Twitch chat, but I'm going to share that one again soon.
Thank you very much, Okami.
And don't forget about the Kickstarter. It launches soon.
Oh, yeah.
The launch is likely to be October 14th. That is the date we are currently dialed in on.
Okay. We'll keep everything tuned in then, and definitely make sure to be there.
Awesome. See you guys next week.
See
you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I don't know why Nightbot responded to me. I thought Nightbot was responding to me, and I was like, I did not put in a command. What's happening? And I'm like, oh, it's just a timer. Never mind. Don't scare me.
Cannot believe. Well, I can. That you all strong arm me into being a yeehaw man.
Oh yeah, with
stop
the
it.
limpest wrists, sure.
We like mentioned it in passing, and you were like, "Fine, if I'm being railroaded."
Here's like, I'm literally like,
I literally
I'm
sent you Advent Edition and was like, you don't even gotta look. We all know who you're gonna be.
Literally, Scott brought this up to me, and he was like, "All right, listen, I'm gonna show you this book, but I'm not gonna. There's a gunslinger," and I'm like, well, what else is in there? And he's like, do you really want to know?
We could all play this game.
I'm like protesting as I'm like putting on my boots. I'm like, no, I want to play something else. Puts on that.
Shunk.
Gets completely dressed in garb. No, I don't want to be the gunslinger. All right, yeehaw.
Sad yeehaw noises.
Seriously though, thank you guys so much for taking the time. It's a pleasure getting to.
And thank you for being here and introducing us.
Seriously.
Time to go see if my 3-year-old is sneaking out of bed.
Oh. Good luck with your tiny barbarians.
Yes, indeed. And I'm going to have a third next year, too. Can you believe it?
Congrats.
Congratulations.
You're a brave man.
Another boy, too. 3 boys, all for me.
Third boy? Wow.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Right.
All right. I really look forward to next week, guys. I will see you then.
See you then.
We do. See you then.
Ciao.
Hey.
I'm waving, but nobody can see it, as usual.
I feel it.
Good.
Yeah, we know you're waving.
I have sat here for the last hour and a half twirling this stupid revolver because of you.
Yourself.
Yeah, complain.
Yeah. Wait,
However many men there are, I'm just going to make more. They're my men, too. Just going to throw my banner down.
Listen, all I know is I am going to silver tongue my way out of everything.
I'm going to have to ask you to respectfully use your tongue in our campaign.
So in my campaign,
however I want.
Last week,
I mean, that's fair.
We had our anniversary game, and it was special because it was DM Bacon's like side quest. So I gave all my players plus Dex who came new sheets, and they were all dwarves or dwarf related. There was a Duergar in there, courtesy of DM Lacara, and then there was another dwarf that was in there, courtesy of DM Shin, and Dex took the leader of like the secondary commando group, and he decided to play his character as just taking care of the youngest dwarf in the group, and like that's his whole job. He was like, I don't care what happens to anybody else. I'll even at one point he picked up the character that you made, DM Shin, because he was talking too much and threw him into the room and was like, I think there's things happening in there, so let's go, and just picked him up and threw him in the room. And I'm like, I feel like Torbjorn's whole thing is going to be like, I don't want people who don't fight to fight, so here's my men that I trained that I can trust to protect them to come on in.
So we literally are going to have the group dad. I'm definitely playing my gunslinger as the is never serious unless he absolutely needs to be.
I'm absolutely playing this guy as the only thief that will ever potentially bumble every. I want to play George Clooney in Ocean's 11 meets Lupin the Third.
Woo!
Meets Scooter from Borderlands.
Yes.
This is where the cars live! Get you one! I need to play a character in a game that talks like that. That voice I can do forever.
Now tell me how you doing. Now I gotta say, you might be the prettiest damn thing I ever seen in this damn side of the town. Oh, I can't wait to turn on Twang.
I'm
gonna have Twang too.
Yeah, but my Twang a little different.
Listen, you got the. I don't know. I lost it.
I'm picturing my character as basically if Claudia from Warehouse 13 was actually the granddaughter of the librarian from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but in her 40s.
Oh man, Warehouse 13. I gotta finish that.
And
Good series. What did I say? That was an amazing series. That's what that was.
That one was fun.
But if people want to check out the Kickstarter, there's links everywhere. If people want to join our Discord so you can get the quick reference guide, come on over. That link is always available. Even if it's not in the chat currently,
on Twitch. Like, you can't see it. It's definitely down below if you just look a little bit lower down on the channel for the card. But it is also on the YouTube. And you can also join the Enclave Discord, which there's a link in the YouTube description. Plus, I put it in the chat over there. I can post it again if anybody who's not in there wants to be in there. Their Discord is very much like I would say the Coming Curry Discord is more of a social Discord. The Enclave Discord is like, we're playing Enclave. There's lots of looking for games stuff and like I'm signing up. And it is, Robby was saying, it's very, if you're into West Marches style campaigns where like 4 people are here today, those are the 4 who are going on a mission, Enclave will be perfect for you.
Yeah.
Like that openness to just being like, I just want to play. That's what we all dream of.
Yep. He's been paid to play games, run games since he was 16. The dream.
Speaking of Shin, we were talking last night. The resident bard was catching me up on what I missed after I had to drop off last night, and we were talking about how awesome your character creation system is, and how simple and flawless and nice it is.
But it's got, I will admit, I see some bugs in it myself at times, but I'm glad that it was seamless enough because I really wanted to keep it simple. Like after seeing how Robby has Enclave made up, and even looking at my own system, I think I see a lot. I really appreciate the idea of let's making a character simple. Like here's all the like don't have to flip through. I didn't want to make it like similarly. Don't want you to have to flip through a ton of pages. Don't want you to have to remember 1,000 things. Here's all the references. Here's everything you need. Click on the next 2 tabs. That's kind of why I like it in an Excel spreadsheet kind of format, where it's just like, here is everything. If you need to know what spells you can cast, what abilities do, here you can read everything without having to refer to page 3 to then flip back to page 6 sometimes. And he has such a short rule set where it's just like, boom, here's the rule set. Even though it's getting expanded quite much, very much in the Kickstarter version that's coming out for around the 14th, where we get the Kickstarter and all the information, it's going to be, it's kind of that idea of how do we get players playing?
Yeah.
Like once you have a player playing, I feel like you can get the most hesitant player to commit to a game.
Yeah.
And I feel like, again, to Enclave's great credit here, this is perfect for someone who just wants to try TTRPGs.
Yeah.
They want to try a TTRPG, they're not sure yet. Enclave says, hey, I'm going to give you everything you need. And the only thing you require is being you. If you can't bring yourself, what in the world? How'd you get here?
He didn't mention it, but like the book has very, very concrete rules on how to level up and what leveling up entails. But it is the simplest level up rules I've ever seen in my life. It's whenever you go on the amount of missions it would take to get to the next level. So like from 1 to 2 is go on 2 missions. To get from 2 to 3, go on 3 missions. To get from 3 to 4, go on 4 missions. Like so simple.
Am I the only one that's hearing him
Nope.
suck in helium?
Yeah, you've gone up in helium class.
Interesting.
I
was literally typing that into the Discord chat.
Okay, so we were all going mass hysteria right now. Okay.
I haven't even left the room. What's going on, headset? Don't do this to me.
Legitimately.
No, you sound fine.
A chipmunk.
You did, but it was slow.
But it was
so
also
funny.
But it was also hilarious because I thought he was getting, as he got increasingly excited about this.
I thought it was a bit.
Oh my God. What great dramatic accidental effect.
We all know he doesn't have that much voice control.
It's true.
It's true.
Can't keep it. Nope. Oh, the only voice I can keep is Stitches, and that's fine.
That's almost what it sounded like.
Except pitch it up like 16 octaves.
Literally.
Oh man, that was great. I feel like somebody who's new to TTRPGs and shy, that's not somebody that's just like, oh yeah, improv night, let's go. Might struggle a bit with something so open. But I think
Thanks for
definitely
the sub.
definitely for people like us that are like, we've played some stuff. We've seen some stuff.
We've seen
like
things.
this is what we're looking for at this point. It's like, pare away the crap, give us that pure story goodness.
Like, yeah, give us that good stuff. Like, all right, listen, let's skip the appetizer. Like, we went to the steakhouse for the steak.
Yeah.
We didn't come here for the fancy bread. It's nice. It's great. A drink, absolutely. But where is my steak?
Yep.
I mean, it also fills me with joy to hear him say, because it's diceless, everything revolves around how you want to do something.
Yeah.
And that really opens up the world of TTRPGs to people who are just starting, because everyone's first thing is, how do they role play it? Because getting into character is the hardest thing for people who are starting. Versus doing math for character sheets.
And again, the common rule of thumb is that most people's first characters are themselves plus.
Yeah.
Yep.
But sometimes even that's hard for a shyer person at a table who wants to play. They want to make that friend. They want to make that connection. But it's hard for them to present themselves in a new way.
Like in DM Lacara's campaign, I don't think like our wizard and our cleric, I think they would both just like suck up and like they would just curl up into a ball if they were given this opportunity. But like if this were the TTRPG they were playing. But for some people, this is what they want or they need.
Yeah.
Like for us, this is amazing because we wax poetic for fun. Like, I mean, this is partly what the roundtable is when we start cooking up ideas. Now we're going to be cooking up ideas in game and using those ideas. Literally, we are going to be building a stew of flavor.
Yeah.
We are flavoring the stew that is our mission.
My single goal while we play Enclave next week is to make him somehow regret giving me free reign of.
I don't think that's possible.
I don't think that's possible.
I know. I don't
think that's gonna happen.
I don't think it is, but I sure as hell can try.
Listen, I need you to do one.
You can certainly try.
He's run 2,000 sessions.
Yeah. I need
You're
you
not
to do
gonna
one.
I know
thing
he's
for me,
seen
right?
something.
I need you to do one thing, okay? I need you.
No, I will not send you feed pics.
No. Listen, I would DM for that. Anywho, no, I'm just kidding. But
you get him for free. Let's be real.
I don't even have a response for that. But what I was gonna say is, I think that next week we have the greatest opportunity to show also the round table, like to show everyone who's watched the round table for as long as they have, or for just joining us, just what happens when you give us the opportunity to like embrace a character, and that is the right thing to do. Like, we don't have to look back in the booklet to see if this is how you do it. We just do it.
Yeah, it's if it feels right.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to be in character.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm excited.
It's gonna be a wild ride.
And you can check it out here, folks, next week here in the roundtable, because Okami won't plug himself, so we do it for him all the time.
It's true.
That's right. Hit the buttons.
And as a special request, hit the buttons again related to Robby and Enclave. The Discord if you want to play. and the Kickstarter to check it out
Yeah.
and help support.
Yes.
During the rest of the week, if people want to find any, maybe I am having a stroke. I don't know. If people want to find the rest of you, ooh, I mean, that should be fun. Being scared is good. That means you get to be brave and have fun. But if people want to find the rest of the roundtable during the week, where can they go?
We'll be on Discord, writing, crafting, getting you guys ready for the next session and talking to you guys about when we want to do that, and get that set up. I figured October might be easier for people. Give people some
Yeah,
time,
I'm probably not going to have any time the rest of this month.
and I think that's totally fair. I figured October might be easier for folks to plan out the next session. But we can maybe get a little bit of a longer session if we want to start a little earlier.
Wouldn't say no to
Maybe
that.
maybe get like a little 2.5, 3 in there, and really get you guys delved into, because there's a lot of fun stuff you guys are gonna get to do. I've as you can tell, I've been having a lot of fun with incarnate maps.
Your RTS maps? Yes, please.
Yeah. It's very much inspired by the RTS games. I played a lot of Warcraft 2 as a kid, okay? Tides of Darkness was my jam. But I've built out the map and like the madness you guys are facing already. I did it literally on my way home today because I just was sitting there listening to music, and then all of a sudden I was like, I know exactly what I need to do. I was like, I got it. I had an idea before, and I was like, no, scrap this. We're rewriting the book, and this is gonna be fun for you guys on the island. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
gonna give you this one. DM Lacara,
Yeah.
the sea is singing back.
Oh.
Well, I'm not going in
I'm...
there. I tell you what.
No, but Alistair might just jump in head first.
We will stop him.
Let's throw a flag into the sea.
You just summon
This might
3
help.
dudes in the sea. Ah!
I'm just imagining you like sphere throw perfect into the ocean, hitting something in the ocean, and it coming up.
Yeah. Alistair's totally fine, just like chilling down, singing, having a duet with the ocean. You call up the Kraken. You guys get killed ice surface, and I'm like, what happened?
It's got to be like
Yeah,
Brave
that's right.
Fencer Musashi. I got to throw my banner into the sea, and something just pops up, and it's like, you forgot something. But it just sounds like.
I love
Everyone's like, shoot it.
The heretic somewhere
Oh.
overboard is like, well, I can understand the sea.
Oh, I already know Sundance here is gonna absolutely like unload every bullet he has.
Oh, Sundance, I am ready. My body is willing.
But what about you, DSC and DM Lacar? Where can we find you this week?
You don't find me, I find you.
We love that. It's true.
Bump bump. Why don't I have that? I only have the Metal Gear Solid. None of you are gonna hear it, but the chat can hear it. I only have the Metal Gear Solid. Huh?
I only have the Metal Gear Solid. You'll never hear it. I love that. I love that you played it, and in my head, I'm just like, I'm waiting for it. Like my brain is waiting to hear it, and it's like, I'm never gonna hear it. I'm never gonna hear it.
Oh, that's right. I also have a button for Grimjack super sped up going, what's going on here? Because his headset was messing up. Could also use that one.
All right, guys.
Likewise, I think I need to sign off here and get some sleep.
Thank you all for coming, and thank you all out there in the chat for coming.
if you want to chat more about tabletop, Seers, you're more than welcome to come into the Discord. We got a whole channel just to talk about stuff like that. I'll be here tomorrow at 8, streaming Horizon Forbidden West. I'm hopefully like halfway, probably more than halfway done with the DLC, so that I can finally not play that game ever again. 160 hours is like this is not a From Software game, and I'm like
I feel you.
Oh no.
Listen, I will have to introduce you to an old tradition my friends and I had in college after the call.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that reminds me, I didn't actually answer your question, Mr. Shin.
Oh yeah, where can we find you?
This week, I have it a bit of an easy week, and I have been struck by inspiration that I think Shin will probably break into my apartment to try out.
Break into your apartment? I could just knock.
No. Because, listen, I'm willing to tell a story, and you will have been blinded by its magic in all of its ring-shaped glory.
Oh, I think it's gonna go in a volcano.
Will it fit?
Listen, Shin, just know there will be some Gregorian chanting, and you will have your boots on the ground. That's all you need to know.
But yeah.
Livens up a party.
That sounds like code.
Yeah.
All right, I'm out.
Bye, everybody.
everybody.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to hit the button in YouTube first because it's going to take forever to come up anyway. Also, I will say 100% Robby made the correct decision. When we were like getting ready for the stream and stuff, I sent him the links. I was like, okay, this is my Twitch link, but I'm going to send you the YouTube link when it comes up. And he was like, oh, what should I use? And I go, okay, so here's the thing. If you want audience participation, Twitch. If you just want the chat to be there forever, YouTube. And he was like, oh, I guess I'll stick with Twitch. He made the right decision because, again, like YouTube chats are weird. Like people are going to watch the stream on YouTube as a VOD later. They don't actually sit in on the stream. So he made the right decision. Yeah. Bye to everyone. And I want to put out a special thank you to Zella, who was not part of the stream, but she is the community manager for Enclave, who originally put us in touch with Robby. She's in the chat that we were in that we're running this call out of, but she didn't join the call. But shout out to her because she just like saw some people on YouTube and Twitch doing stuff TTRPG related and was like, I think we have something in common. I want to share with you my favorite TTRPG. And I was like, okay, I'm here for it. Let me hear about it. And now we're here playing Enclave with its creator. So big shout out to you. Thank you. You didn't have to do that, but you did. And I mean, obviously we super appreciate that out of all the channels everywhere, picked us to talk to. Cool. Thank you. But yeah, for those of you on Twitch, thank you for coming in. Thank you for hanging out. I hope you've made some new friends. And hopefully we see you again next week when we play. That'll be Monday at 8 Eastern. So until then, bye everyone! It really feels like it. I feel cool, man. Bye Twitch! Bye YouTube! It finally popped up. It's going to tell me if I hit this, I won't be live anymore. I know! That